is Zishan with MZA, and today I'm excited because I just got my new MacBook Air 2020. I'm going to be unboxing it for you guys and give my initial review. As always, if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more of my content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Alright, the MacBook Air 2020. I went for the space gray. It's razor thin on the sides. You still have a headphone jack, which I think is a good idea. On this side, you have two USB-C Thunderbolt 3 ports. The look is still really sleek and elegant, and it still looks like your typical Mac. So I bought my first MacBook Pro back in 2010. These things were heavy, bulky, but it still had a really thin display. And one thing I really liked about it, the backlight. I don't hear a lot of people say this nowadays, but I miss the glowing Apple icon on the back of the MacBook. Most of us tend to keep a laptop for at least 3 years, if not more, and it does tend to be an expensive buying decision. I'm just here to help you out make that decision a bit easier. On average, if you're spending $1,000 on a laptop, make sure that you buy a laptop that suits your needs and not just go with something you think is the best. So the MacBook Air is a basic things laptop. If you're going to be browsing the web, streaming videos, checking emails, doing Zoom calls, looking at YouTube videos, then this is the Mac for you. But if you're looking to edit videos, do graphic designing, or do gaming, for all those things, I recommend you get a MacBook Pro. The MacBook Air comes with a 1.1 Hz dual-core processor. You can get the basic Core i3 with turbo boost up to 3.2 GHz, or you can upgrade to the Core i5. It now starts with 256 GB storage, and if you want, you can upgrade it to 512. Inside is Intel Iris Plus graphics. So Apple claims that the new MacBook Air can last up to 11 hours. But that's only with basic Safari usage. If you use Google Chrome or push the MacBook a bit, the time comes down to roughly 5 to 7 hours. Again, I've just received this MacBook, so I can't really give you complete hard stats. This is just what I've experienced from light usage. The MacBook starts off at $999 and $100 off if you have a .edu email. And you can spec it up to about $1,300. Again, $100 off if you're a student. The main problem I have with the MacBook Air is that it starts heating up. As soon as you start pushing it a bit, open multiple tabs, open multiple apps, and you start to hear the fan really loudly. It's kind of ironic that the MacBook Air has airflow issues. So the vents in the back, as soon as they get covered up, the MacBook starts to heat up, and you start to hear the fan a lot more. Alright, so the main upgrade of this MacBook is the keyboard. They moved to a Magic Keyboard. They got rid of the butterfly switches, went back to the scissor switches. It has greater travel. It feels so much better. Of course, it's still backlit. They've also brought back the escape key, and they've added Touch ID on the top right here. And you can use the Touch ID for logging in and Apple Pay as well. As you can see, the trackpad is really big. It has Force Touch, it has Apple gestures, and it works wonderfully. Another thing that you'll notice with the keyboard that's obviously missing is the touch bar on top. Apple's clearly decided to not put that in its most popular model. I think that the keys work just as well, and touch bar makes simple tasks like changing the volume or changing the brightness much more complicated than it should be. The MacBook Air 2020 comes with a Retina Display screen. What I don't like about it is that it still has bezels on the side compared to Windows laptops in the same price range, which are practically bezel-less now. The screen isn't the brightest, and when you're using it outdoors, if it's too sunny, it can be problematic, but for indoor normal use, it's bright enough. Another thing that you notice is missing from this laptop, and any Apple laptop for that matter, is touchscreen. And Apple has the capability of adding a touchscreen feature. It's clearly a conscious decision for them right now not to add a touchscreen feature to the MacBook range. So I had my first MacBook Pro in 2010. Then I moved to the 12-inch MacBook in 2015. And to be honest with you, I switched to Windows for a little while. and now I'm back to using the MacBook Air as my daily laptop. What I hated about the MacBook 12-inch were the butterfly keys. The keyboard was the worst, and I'm so glad Apple listened to feedback and switched away from butterfly keys and went back to scissor switches. So the MacBook Air has a 720p camera. Honestly, as you can see from the video, it's not the best. Apple has the technology to make great cameras for their phones. I'm sure they could have done an upgrade on the MacBook Air as well. It's a bit grainy. There's a lot of noise in the background. I think the mic's gotten a decent upgrade. Still not the best for making videos, but again, if you're just using it to make Zoom calls, it does the job. It also has larger speakers which give 25% more sound. And the sound quality is really good. The MacBook Air is close to perfect. The only problems I have is the airflow issues, the fact that it heats up, and the noisy fans. So for my daily use, I don't use my laptop for video editing. It's basically for emails, Zoom calls, surfing the web, watching videos. For those purposes, I feel like the MacBook Air is really good. If this is what you're going to be using your laptop for, then I recommend you make the switch right away. If, however, you need to push your laptop to the limits, you do video editing, gaming, or graphic design, then you probably need to either get the MacBook Pro. If you're limited on budget, then I recommend you get a spec'd out Windows. But if you want to stay within the Apple ecosystem or upgrade your existing MacBook, then the MacBook Air is the perfect laptop. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This was Zishan with MZA. See you next time.